So you're considering offering a creative finance deal, but you simply don't know how to figure out the terms. Well, this video is here to explain how. And for my wholesalers and also my investors, stick till the end because I have a little secret strategy that I use that most people are not using out there to help you find more of these creative finance deals. So stick till the end of this video and I'll share that with you. So to start off, first thing you want to do when you're offering creative finance, you want to have your exit strategy in mind. And this is for, once again, either wholesalers or actual investors. You want to know what the end strategy is. Once you look at the property, you know what type of property it is. You want to know whether this is going to be a fix and flip or a buy and hold. Once you figure out that strategy, then you'll know the terms that makes more sense for you. So let's start off with the fix and flip. With a fix and flip, your focus is not to have a long mortgage term, right? So when you create a seller finance deal, it is a mortgage note. It is a note. So that's why I'm using the word mortgage. You're kind of looking for short terms, which might be more appealing to the seller because they don't want to hold a note for 30 years. Most people want it as quick as possible for them to get their money and be out of the deal. With a fix and flip, you might be able to offer a 1 year long financing term because maybe the property will only take about 3 months for you to do all the repairs, and then you can sell it within that 3 months. That's giving you a 9 months grace period for you to sell that property and get out of there and pay the seller his fees or his purchase price and then take your profit and get out of there. So with fix and flips, you don't need that 30-year period. You can make that a bit shorter so you can appeal to the seller and you're not so worried about the monthly payment, although you are, because you don't want something ridiculous. Because throughout those months that you're doing the fix and flip, you're not making any profit. You're just spending money. So you do want a monthly payment that's reasonable, but you can offer a little bit higher if you have the funds to offer that. Because keep in mind, you're not buying the entire property cash, so you do have some money in your hands that you can offer on a monthly basis to pay for the property while you're fixing it up. So if typically rent for that area would go for about $800 a month, you can offer $900 if you have, $20,000 in your hand that you're utilizing to repair the property. And let's say the budget is only 15 grand and you have 20 grand, you have enough money to pay that every month and repair the property and still be able to be profitable with it. So you got to play with your numbers so you can get the right number that works for you. But your focus is, can you get the work done quickly and sell the property quickly so you don't have to keep paying that mortgage every month. So that's typically what you would do with a bridge loan anyway. For those of you who don't know what a bridge loan is a form of loan that investors typically get from hard money lenders to bridge over that period of time when they're fixing the property and when they're going to refinance it to get their money back, typically with investors that are doing the BRRRR strategy. That's a whole different discussion. We don't need to get into it. But yes, so you don't mind if your mortgage is a bit higher when you're doing a fix and flip, because once again, you're not planning to hold this property for long term. Now, what you do want to focus on is having a very low entry price. So entry price is how much money it takes for you to get into that deal. So what you want to focus on is decreasing your down payment. So if the client is willing, or excuse me, if the seller is willing to take, let's say, 5 grand on a property that's worth 150, that's where you want to be at as a wholesaler who is trying to create a creative finance deal or an investor that's trying to go into a deal. You want to be on that lower end of the spectrum. You want to spend as little money as possible up front so that you can focus on spending your money on the repairs and then you can get your profits once you're done fixing the property. Now, let's compare that to the rental, to the buy and hold strategy. With the buy and hold strategy, your mindset changes a bit. You're looking more for decreasing your monthly mortgage because keep in mind, if you're doing buy and hold, you're planning to rent that out, whether it's long-term rental, mid-term rental, or short-term rental. Your goal is to rent it out so you can cash flow. So the lowest you can get your mortgage, your monthly payment, the better it is for you. So with that being said, the way you can decrease your monthly payment is by increasing the length of that loan. So what I typically go for when I'm looking for a rental property, I typically offer the seller a 30-year term because that gives me more time for me to have that loan, which decreases what my monthly mortgage is going to be to pay that loan off over time. So to recap, we want longer term, decrease the mortgage so we can pay that over time and cash flow. Another thing you might want to do is to decrease your interest rate. So on a lot of these deals, what's going to make it appealing to a seller is if you give them some form of interest rate, whether it's 3%, 5%, 10%, some form of interest rate will appeal to them. So what you want to do with your buy and holds, you want to decrease that interest rate. So you want to offer lower interest, a 3%, a 2%, a 1%, or maybe a 0% if you can. If you can work the deal so you have 0% interest, that's even better for you. So that's what you're looking for on your buy and hold, because once again, the effect that that's going to have on the mortgage, it's going to decrease that monthly payment, which is more beneficial for you in the long term. Another thing to focus on when you're doing buy and hold is to consider the rental strategy. And once again, this is both for wholesalers and for investors. Because wholesalers, you need to understand your investors' mindset for you to create an ideal deal for them so that they want to purchase from you. Because if you're creating deals that nobody wants, you're not going to be a very successful wholesaler. You want to create deals that people will want. So you want to start thinking like an investor. So another thing when you're creating these deals, consider what's the rental strategy. Is it going to be a long-term rental? Is it going to be a mid-term rental or short-term rental? Typically, this is how it goes. Short terms tend to be the most profitable. Depending on the area, depending on the market, they tend to be the most profitable. In certain markets, I only do short terms because I know that's how I'm going to maximize on my cash flow and get the most out of my investment. Other markets, it's midterm rentals. Midterm rentals work very well. And with both short-term and midterm rentals, one of the things you have to keep in mind is you will have to furnish the property. But nonetheless, these two strategies work very well. And the way to figure that out is understanding your market. Or if you're going to do long-term rental tends to be the one that makes the least profit, but in certain areas, that might be the best idea. So once you have those rental strategies in mind, then you'll know where your mortgage has to be so that the deal is profitable. So now we understand a little bit on how to structure the seller finance. Now, where do I find these seller finance deals? Well, here it is. The best place to find seller finance deals is on the MLS guys, because these people are already interested in selling their property. Off market, you can find them too, but on the MLS is where you're most likely to find them. The people you want to target for those are people that have their properties listed for a while. If the property's been listed for 30, 40, 50 days, most likely it's not going to sell anymore. So these people, you can offer them a seller finance though. Rather than just keeping the property and not doing anything with it, maybe you could offer them a seller finance. You give them a 10% down payment, 20%, 30% down payment, and finance the rest. Those are the places where you can find some of the best ones, especially, and take note on this, especially people that are landlords. Because with a seller finance deal, it's basically being like a landlord without all the headaches, because they don't have to fix the property, they don't have to do any maintenance, they don't have to worry about the property at all. So they can still cash flow and they get a substantial down payment depending on what you offer them, and yet they don't have to worry about maintaining the property like they had to do as a landlord. So these are people that are more motivated and will be more likely interested in a seller finance deals. As promised, for those of you who stuck till the end, here's what I do when I'm looking for these seller finance deals. I have a scraper tool that I use for Zillow where I can gather the information of the realtors and I can text blast maybe 100, 200, whatever, how big my list is. I can text blast them all at once and offer them creative finance for these deals. So I look for properties that I've listed for greater than 30 days. I look for people who are potential landlords, and I can just scrape all that data and text blast them and offer them creative finance deals. If you guys want to use the scraper tool, just email me at theinvestedphysician@gmail.com. The information is also listed below, and I can give you access to it. Thank you guys for watching. Like always, smash that like button, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll be seeing you on the next video. Take care.